Europe's Roma community live outside normal society. They're heavily discriminated against from a young age. Most of them have bad access to education due to poverty, exclusion and racism. As a result, the prospects of a secure future are severely hampered. 41% of Roma have experienced discrimination over the past 5 years. 85% of Roma children are at risk of poverty compared to 20% of children in the general population. And 62% of Roma youth are not in education, employment or training, compared to 10% of youth in the general population. The EU has set out a 10-year plan to include the community of 10 million Roma into wider society and put an end to the bigotry that makes their lives so difficult.
Our aim is to bring about equality, and obviously these communities these societies have to be included in order to become eventually equal. But there are very, very serious problems with, for instance, the reality that less than 50% of Roma people are in employment. And therefore this is repeating the cycle of having, problems at school, not sending children to school, or the segregation of children in schools.
Brussels has attempted in the past to provide money to support the Roma community, but local governments have refused to help the Roma for fear of a backlash by voters.
The politics of this policy is the problem. We had governments without enough political will to actually implement commitments that were already there. It is not true that we don't know what are the solutions. The solutions were already on the table, but the governments didn't have political will to implement them because they fear that if they do something positive for Roma, they will face loss of votes in the next elections.
German MEP Roma of France, who's also from the Roma community, says monitoring the implementation of this new EU framework is key, as there's a fear that money allocated to stamp out anti-Roma racism never reaches the people who need it most.
Corruption is one of the biggest problems what we have, and we must against corruption, and that we can do only with monitoring. With monitoring, we must see where comes the money, where go the money. And that was in the past. We have the big problem. Only a little small part came to the people who needs this money, and the other money is.
This time the Commission says it's different, and member states will be monitored for their role in supporting the Roma. Shona Murray, Euronews.